Hello, General Biology. This video is going to be about food webs and trophic levels. Now, you may be familiar with food chains. That's where you've got one organism that's eating another organism, eating another organism, eating another organism. Well, food webs are basically the same concept, but a little expanded and a little more complicated. Now, these food chains and these food webs, their goal is actually to track energy. That's why we eat. We eat to gain energy and we eat to gain nutrients. And the energy is used to help run our bodies, and the nutrients are used to help build our bodies. So a food web is just a really expansive food chain that describes what's going on in an ecosystem, because more organisms don't just eat one thing. So we need to describe that. So here's an example. First, our energy for our ecosystems starts with our sun. And it's providing energy to organisms that can do photosynthesis, like algae, seaweed, and phytoplankton. Phytoplankton are little tiny single-cell microscopic organisms that can do photosynthesis and float around in the ocean. And we call these organisms that can do that producers. They are taking the energy from the sun and they are producing food, and they are building their bodies with that energy, and that's really useful because it allows the energy then to be transferred to the other organisms that can eat them. So an example here is krill. Krill are shrimp-like animals that can eat algae and seaweed and phytoplankton and get they get energy from those that they're eating. And clams can do the same thing with algae. Clams, I don't know if you know, but they have this like tongue that they can stick out of their shell, and then they can like lick the surface of their shell. So if they have algae growing on them, they can grab algae, and so they eat algae, which is getting energy from the sun. These are called primary consumers. Now this is a fancy word that means first eater. That's basically what it means. So we have our producers that are getting energy from the sun, and we have our first eaters, which are eating our producers, and then we can go up to another trophic level. You see, each one of these levels that we've discussed, or we will discuss, are called trophic levels. And the word trophic basically means feeding. So these are the same thing as feeding levels in an ecosystem. So let's go to the next one. We have this fish, which can eat the krill, and they are going to get the energy from the krill, which the krill got from the seaweed, which the seaweed got from the sun. And so this fish, because it's our second eater, it would become our secondary consumer. Well, the fish and the clams can both be eaten by this squid. That would make the squid a tertiary or third level consumer. Now, you can see the squid is eating the clams, but the clams are the first level, so shouldn't the squid be at the second level? Well, these levels are based on whatever the highest thing you eat is. So because the squid eats a secondary consumer, it's also considered to be a tertiary consumer. And finally, we've got these penguins. They can eat krill, and they can eat fish, and they can eat squid. They're a quaternary consumer. They are a fourth level consumer. Now, two last terms. An autotroph. Troph comes from the word feeding, like trophic level. So an autotroph, and auto means self. So an autotroph feeds themselves. They use the sun to make their own food, and they feed themselves with that food. Heterotrophs, this troph, again feeding, hetero means other. So heterotrophs feed on others, and that's why they are eaters. They have to take another organism and eat its body to get energy. And so these are our trophic levels, and this is an example of a food web. I hope this helps. Struggle well.